Women are needed in the armed forces. They are brilliant in the armed forces. And they are so required. They are really, really necessary as well. And it's a brilliant career. It's a fantastic thing to do. But I don't...
Just say, you're speaking at this from a point of real experience and lots of time spent with the armed forces.
Lots of time. 9 years I spent working with the armed forces. And I travelled to Somalia, to Bosnia, all very, dangerous parts of the world with these men and women. And I have to say that I never felt any threat from the men in the armed forces. And this is the other thing, is that this reporting colours all of those brilliant men who sacrifice so much, their families, their home life, everything, to protect us around the world. And there will be rotten eggs in every basket, of course there will. But it breaks my heart to see all men in these reports sort of being judged in the same way. Yes, there will be bad ones, but I worry about these women. I do think that the women that I've met have been very robust, very strong, very brilliant women, and maybe they just need to have more faith that if they do speak out, or when they speak out, that they will be listened to, and not be afraid of being fired.
I mean, we had a statement from the MOD, reached out to them. They said, the reality is this experience, talking about men and women, is not equal. Very occasionally that can be harmful. I profoundly regret this, and we shall examine the report closely. Do you think, actually, there are things that can be put in place to better protect women, or is it always going to be the case that you have, as you say, a few rotten eggs?
Look, I fear for this stance of we must protect women, because I feel that weakens us as a people. And if we want to be equal, and we're still not, then we have to step away from this, I want to be protected. There's a lot of these women in the armed forces, and like I said, I've spent hours and hours with these people in very dangerous situations. And I didn't get the sense that there was a weakness in these women that I met. And now, it doesn't mean to say that there aren't abuses, and I'm sure there are. My younger brother, is a commander in the Navy. And they've brought women on, and that's been a really difficult transition in submarines and in ships, because they're so tiny and they're hotbedding and they're working different shifts and not sharing a bed, but sharing a bed. So it has been a difficult transition, but I don't want that to put women off, because the more women there are, the better protected they are, and the more women climbing ranks, the better protected women are. But to sort of couch it in, we must protect women all the time, I fear for that narrative, because I think it weakens women in the eyes of
I think the women would agree with you. I mean, 9 out of the 10 female service personnel in the inquiry said they would recommend a career in the military.
Yes, of course. Yeah, it's a brilliant career. There's a lot of banter, there's a lot of fun, there's a lot of hard work. There's a career in the military. You're not just a soldier. You can be anything. You can be, mechanic, an air, a flyer, a navigator, a technician.
Doctor,
there are billions.
Yeah.
A doctor. There's so many different jobs. So yeah, look, if we make the reporting safer and easier. But that's had to be the case in the film industry.
Our guest just said,
that still women fear complaining. One place that you and I both worked at, Rosie, I had some women come to me and say, look, a presenter is speaking to us in a way we don't accept, but we're too scared to go and talk to the bosses about it, because they were young. And I was the old bird there, Rosie, as you know. And so I just went, well, I'll go to the bosses then. I'm a presenter. There's not a lot they can do to me in terms of, sacking me or whatever. So I went to the boss at the time, and I said, look, these young women are worried and upset, and they don't like this language. And it's so bad that I can't repeat it. And the boss then just went, none of your business. It's none of your business. You keep your nose out of this. If they want to complain, they can complain. And I said, just, but they feel they can't, because he's a powerful presenter and they are, PAs or producers, and they fear that they will be fired. But the bosses there were just like, don't care, none of your business, Hosken, keep your nose out.
It is a lot about the culture, isn't it? I mean, in the armed forces, I think there's 16,000 women to 132,000 men, so they are very outnumbered.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that is...
The more women that are there...
Exactly.
The more... protected they will feel, the more. But let's not paint all the men as, you know, like all these hideous men and this poor little pocket of women. It isn't like that. That is not the reality. These men and women work extremely well together. They are brilliant human beings. I have all the time in the world for them, and it is a fantastic place for women to be.
Welcome to the GB News YouTube channel. You can watch us live 24 hours a day, catch up on your favourite shows and join in the conversation in the comments below.
Don't forget to subscribe and you'll never miss any of our exclusive content.